welcome. Now let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Usually there's a little thing to read about the appeal process, which I remember if you're not happy with, it's on the top of the package, maybe. That was the top. Okay, pursuant to the provisions of section 2.68.030 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, notice is hereby given that if you're not satisfied with a decision made by the Metropolitan Transportation Licensing Commission, you may appeal the decision by petitioning for a writ of certiorari with the Davidson County Chancery or Circuit Court. Your appeal must be filed within 60 days of the date of entry of the Metropolitan Transportation Licensing Commission's decision. Advise that you seek your own independent legal advice to ensure that your appeal is filed in a timely manner and that all procedural requirements have been met. With that, we'll get into the...
So, TD, just let me know that we're only allowed to approve up to 8 individuals to speak for up to 2 minutes each, and we had 16 people sign up. So we will take the first 8.
Do we know if relative to the 16, any are speaking on the same topic?
I do not. How they do it at Metro Council is first come, first serve on the list.
Okay.
Everyone was instructed to keep their comments to something that was on the agenda.
Okay.
So it's 16 minutes, so if someone goes less than 2 minutes, we may be allowed to have an extra.
Perfect. We'll start with Miss Dane Breedlove?
He was here on a non-agenda item, so
there we go.
we'll move on.
All right, Christy Patterson.
And I'll keep an eye on the time for you, just to make sure.
Thank you.
Just make sure that button is on.
It's on.
Green button.
Yes. Go ahead. Good, okay. To the Transportation Licensing Commission and TLC Director, thank you for your time and attention to all the matters that fall under the TLC Commission. As we fully understand, this is a tough task. I could not attend this meeting, but I wanted to give my thoughts on BL 205954, the sightseeing ordinance change. I've spent several months helping draft and shape the ordinance with Jacob Coupin and others. While I fully understand that some of the traditional narrated sightseeing tour companies like Gray Line and Old Town Trolley want to regulate separately, this must be done in a fair way for everyone involved. This suggestion ordinance just does not do that as it's currently written and will cause harm to numerous operators and will be fought at court and state level due to unfair treatment of vehicles, all providing social and entertainment tours. Under 6.78.010, seated sightseeing vehicle stands. If the public right-of-way stands will be provided for seated sightseeing vehicles that are for 40-foot-long vehicles that are also operated tours for social and entertainment purposes, this is a violation of state and federal equal protection laws. You cannot provide access to public right-of-way just because you like their business model more. 6.78.030. Says MTLC must make an annual finding to renew any previously issued certificates. State law says permits must be renewed unless the city has proven an operator as a bad actor. 6.78.060. Section A, this section contradicts 6.78.030 as it says, shall be renewed per state law, which is correct. Section D, this section says once these new sightseeing permits are approved by Metro, that the current sightseeing permit holders shall immediately forfeit their existing ETV sightseeing permits. This is a violation of state law that protects our ETV sightseeing permits, as this new sightseeing permit has different rules and qualifications than the current permit. If we okay. Thank you.
I couldn't hear you.
Ash Piera.
Hi, I'm Ash Pereira. I manage Nashville by Cab, a pedicab company here in Nashville. Been a pedicabber here for about 10 years. Been managing since 2019. Today, I would like to respectfully request a temporary pause or deferment, or even possible denial of all pedicab new bike cab permits today, not pedal carriages. I have nothing to say about that. Even our own application. Currently, permits are being issued to companies and individuals before they have secured proper equipment and insurance, which in some cases, because of financial inability, is leaving some of these companies to then rent out some of these permits, or basing their business plan off of that. So essentially making money off of the granted permits they've been awarded. Last year, there was a 35% increase of bike cab permits that were issued. So we've seen a huge growth. We have never had so many pedicabs in the city. We've doubled the amount of companies, and at least 2 of the companies are not even utilizing 50% of their permits because of financial inability to either obtain the pedicabs or the insurance themselves. So I implore you to really vet these companies that are coming in, even us. Please ask your questions and do your homework, because we're seeing issues, especially with liability and fairness amongst the community. Thank you very much.
Is that guy still out there doing the?
I haven't seen him, no.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Ash. Simon Kendrick and Chris Livingston.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Simona Kendrick. I am the Vice President of L Transport Services, LLC, and I am here to read some of our support letters for today. To whom it may concern, I am writing in strong support of L Transport Services as they pursue their permit for operation in Nashville, Tennessee. L is not just another transportation company. They are a lifetime for both locals and tourists, navigating vibrant and often overwhelming downtown Broadway areas. Their team is deeply passionate about safety, reliability, and the well-being of every passenger they serve. In a city that thrives on tourism, having services like LL is essential to maintaining both charm and security of Nashville's experience. What sets them apart is their personal commitment to the community. They go above and beyond to ensure that visitors and residents alike get to their destinations without incident, providing a safe, dependable, and provide a professional ride experience. Their presence helps reduce pedestrian risk, manage downtown congestion, and supports responsible tourism, especially at night when safe transport options are critical. Nashville needs businesses like L Transport Services, ones that care, show up, and elevate the standards of our growing city. I fully support their permit approval and positive impact they bring to our streets. Respectfully written, Kiana Scales, host of the Kiana Scale podcast. I would like to express my support for L Transport. Nashville thrives on experiences that bring people together, and L=L Transport Services offers a unique and exciting way to do that. Their carts provide safe, fun, and memorable transportation that adds value to events, celebrations, and the overall community experience. What makes L=L unique is their ability to blend convenience with entertainment. They are not just transportation, they are in an experience by themselves.
Thank you,
Service-
ma'am. That's
Okay.
2 minutes. You're good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Invite me back.
Thank you, guys. Brenda Gilmore,
Yes,
former council lady
yes, yes.
and
yes.
state representative, right?
Yes, yes.
Nice
yes.
to see you.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman and Commissioner members, Brenda Gilmore, former state senator, and I appreciate the opportunity to come before you, and thank you also for the work you give to this city. I'm here and speaking on behalf of L=L Transport Service. They provide golf carts, but when it's not the typical golf carts, these are really, really nice. They seat over 5 people. They have drop-down covers in case it is raining. And the owner of it has just been absolutely phenomenal. I chair the Representative John Lewis March, and this year over hundreds of people joined us. And Mr. Livingston provided complimentary the rides for the elderly and for those who were disabled. And that was from somewhere like 7 a.m. that morning until a little bit afternoon. So I really appreciated his generosity and his care for the community. It was a safe ride, very accessible, and the staff was absolutely amazing. I hope you will give every consideration you can to approving his request for a permit. Thank you so much again for having an opportunity to come before you.
Thank you so much. Janet Bonds.
I want to say good evening to the committee, and I hope everybody can hear me. I'm here in support of L=L Transport Services, LLC. I'm speaking about Chris's character. I have known Chris before he was born, 48 years and 9 months. I'm his mother. Chris truly has a heart of gold. If he can help you, he most certainly will. At home, he gave away turkey baskets at Thanksgiving. He provided jobs. Chris and one of his best friends started up Fathers, Mothers, and Friends, an organization against violence. He loved to see children and young people striving and giving any situation their very best. And that's why he was the assistant coach at Dyersburg High School. Chris is truly a people person, and he's a professional businessman. Since he's been in Nashville, he's donated turkeys at Thanksgiving and fed some of the homeless. This golf cart business was one of his goals, one of his visions, his dream. Nashville, the music city, worn out, and he truly loved the city and the people and all that it has to offer. This business would be his way of giving back by providing jobs and transportation, by inspiring others to go after their dreams here in the music city, to make everyone he meets to feel right at home in the city he fell in love with. I hope you all grant his permit, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Mary Mewis? Mavis. Ah.
Hi, my name is Mary Mavis. I'm here representing the company I started, Nashville Mural Tours. I created Nashville Mural Tours, seeing the need to bring awareness to the great art that we have outside the corridor of the downtown area. I don't know if any of you all have experienced some of the murals. One that comes to mind is the 175-foot tall mural by Guido Van Helten in the Nations of a local gentleman from the Nations, Lee Estes. a lot of these murals were first curated and commissioned by the Nashville Walls Project. Lots of other groups followed along, Off the Wall Nashville, North Art Collective, Creative Girls Rock, and with all of that, what I call a mural movement, I saw the need to have transportation outside of the downtown corridor to see these pieces. And so I am asking for another passenger vehicle for hire permit in order to give guests who visit Nashville an opportunity to hire me to take them to see art outside of the downtown area. Thank you.
Thank you. J.J. Livingston.
Good afternoon. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I am J.J. Livingston. Jonathan Livingston is a book of Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and I feel like right now is my opportunity to experience what life has for me. So I'm here on the behalf of LL, or L equals L's transportation. So I would like to start off with there's two kind of people in the world, just like we have two L's. You have the people that had a dream, and you have people that have a dream. Now, you also have two other kind of people that we also see on Broadway. We have those people that are sober, and we also have those people that are a little bit intoxicated. So with L equals L transportation, one of the big things that we do care about is to make sure people get home to those people that they love and to accomplish those dreams. You know, sometimes people come here for just the opportunity to have a break from just reality. You know, Nashville is the hot spot, and one of those things that we would love to do is to make sure people can go home and finish those I had a dream or I have a dream feelings. The next thing I would like to say is, in life, you have to execute. You have to make sure that you have everything in order. For us, we had to go through a lot just to make sure that we had the carts put together, that they made sure that they passed the permits, that they did the things that they needed to do. So it took us a lot to get to where we are, and we just ask that you guys give us an opportunity to show who we are. And that's all I have. You guys have a beautiful day.
James Gill.
Push the button, which one? Right or left?
The one that has a little person on it with the...
Good afternoon.
Right.
All right. I'm James Gill with Jungle Jim's Pedicabs. I'm sure many of you have probably seen me running around downtown on a little tricycle. I come in today with a heavy heart. One of the members of our pedicab community is currently in the hospital with a broken back. And while that in and of itself is a tragedy, and it really hurts me, we find ourselves in a bit of a predicament in the pedicab world because we have been lumped onto the same ordinance as the pedal taverns, and we are not the same thing. We are expected in all ways to behave completely differently, not only by all of the people driving cars on the streets downtown, but also by all the cops who are handling all of the chaos, because that's what it is. It's structured chaos. We're the top drinking city in the country. We have people everywhere who are not sober, and we are. And our goal as a pedicabber on a exposed tricycle is to stay as far away from cars as is humanly possible. We take these side streets, we take the alleyways. If they've got a closed down road where cars can't travel, they like us being on there. They want us in the bike lanes, and we have recently built all of these beautiful bike lanes all throughout the city. No one uses them, really, except the scooters and us. And they have pylons on the outside of them to protect us. They are big and beautiful. Whenever I first put my pedicab on the street, I had a question as to whether or not the size was going to be acceptable, and I was asked by Mr. Rooker if it would still fit in the bike lanes, because even in his mind, he expects us to behave like a bike, which is exactly what everyone else in the city expects of us. But as it sits right now, if a scooter gets hit by a car in a bike lane, or if a bicycle gets hit by a car in a bike lane, or if a pedestrian gets hit by a car in a bike lane, they can go after the insurance company and get reimbursed. Currently, as it sits, because we've been lumped into the same category as the pedal taverns and we're told to stay on the streets and out of the bike lanes,
Thank
if
you,
we
James,
get
that's
hit,
time.
we can't be reimbursed. He's just up a creek. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, could I ask a quick question of Mr. Schlafer? Isn't it in our rules that they're to stay out of bike lanes?
It's in Metro Code.
Metro code, okay. Thank you.
With every ounce of all due respect, and I really mean that, none of the cops downtown agree with that. None of them. Zero.
Thank you. There were some folks that kind of came in late who may not have heard that we were limiting the public comment to the first 8 people who signed up. So for the folks that we were not going to get to today, I'm terribly sorry. With that, I'd like to move for approval of minutes from our previous meeting of July 17th, 2025. Has everybody received the minutes and had time to review?
And that's because we've detected a form now.
Yes. And we had 8 people, we just went through 8 people. That was the main thing.
I move to approve the previous minutes.
Second,
Second?
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes pass. Thank you. We have multiple items on the consent agenda this afternoon. Is there a motion?
I move we approve the consent agenda. We have to go through them.
We do.
Yes, sir, you have to, we need to go through them one at a time, so we'll need to do the other passenger vehicles for hire. The only one, there's one on here is called Zuvi Luxury Express. Zuvi did not get their fingerprints done on time, so that will be pulled off consent agenda
To the next meeting?
to the next meeting.
Can somebody make a motion?
All right, I'll do the reading.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve the other passenger vehicles for hire. New company application, 615 Deluxe Transport Corporation, Exclusive Rides LLC, GM Shushi LLC, Jonas Black's SUV Service, Nash Lux Limo, Nashville Lux Rides LLC, Y&M Lux Drive LLC, X Black Executive, Saeed LLC, and Nashville Mural Tours LLC.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next.
Do you want me to keep going? All right.
Roll.
I move to approve the OPVH request to change address, Best Rides Transportation to 3300 Murfreesboro Pike, Apartment 116, and Yonale Limo Services LLC to 4413 Springen Way.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Continuing on, make a motion to approve the request to modify ownership for OPVH companies HC Deluxe Transportation LLC to add partner Pierina Patricia Matos Neva, apologies if I butchered that, and for Mimi Limo Services LLC to add partner Rahel B. Meshashe.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I do have a quick discussion. I always have a comment about modifying ownership. Does that transfer the permit?
No, it does not. No, ma'am. They're just probably adding someone else to drive, probably another driver to another vehicle.
Okay. And there's no way to track whether or not the original owner drops off?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Not for us to track it.
Following up on your question, just relative to the partner, do you have a copy of the partnership agreement that would show?
We would check the LLC documents, but in the OPVH category specifically, it is always someone adding a vehicle to the company, but the vehicle's in the other person's name. So the only way is to change the vehicle or to change the partnership.
Thank you. Motion stands to approve.
Motion stands. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. General,
General Wrecker and Towing Services, new company applications. Chosen Towing and Recovery I make a motion to approve the new applications for the general record and towing services companies Chosen Towing and Recovery, Inc., Hooten's Towing LLC, and Navy Towing and Recovery.
I have a question, just because this generally pertains to my industry.
Can we get a second?
We need a second
sure.
before discussion.
Go ahead.
Can you second? Second. All right, any discussion?
Yes.
Awesome.
Discussion for the towing. We have had some savory players try to get into the towing market here in Nashville. And it has come to my attention, just by some of the record services that are reporting to me that there is some circumventing going on by basically just putting these businesses in someone else's name. Are we checking the vehicles that are being licensed to make sure that these are just not the same vehicles?
TD and I inspect every record that's on this list, personally.
Okay. Fair enough.
And another question, we had a lot of discussion about towing and records last month and districts, and is this going to affect
No.
our decisions from last month in any way?
No, ma'am. These are all, they have to be a general record company for a year before they can ever even apply for a zone. So they'll have to be in business for a year in Davidson County.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Aye.
You're abstaining.
I was waiting for somebody to text me back, but I'm gonna say aye.
Mr. Carr, if that's the case, if they'll get in touch with us, we will definitely look into whatever they're saying is happening.
Okay.
All right.
So.
That's the end of the consent
at the
agenda.
End of the consent agenda. Are we still trying to pull the SUMDs up
Yes, sir.
now?
Yes, sir. We'd like to pull that up now, for Lime Scooter. I think they have some people here that have obligations later in the day. First, I want to mention, just for the public and for the commission, September's meeting, this will be September the 18th at 12:30, will be held across the street at our old location where we used to meet a long time ago in the historic courthouse on the ground floor in the jury assembly room. That is for 1 month only, okay?
Does any of the commissioners have an issue with moving the shared urban mobility devices up in the agenda? No. Great. With that, do you guys have a presentation for us on these, or is it just?
This is TD's, he's the manager of this, so we'll let him handle this agenda item.
Commissioners should have received a Lime Glider pilot proposal email, a revised version this morning, including a letter of recommendation from Director Alarcon. Let me give you a brief rundown of how we got here. Back in June, a Lime Glider was present in the room. They got it past security, and we discussed the definition of the glider, which at that time did not fit into the TLC's definition of a scooter or an e-bike. Kind of looks like an e-bike, but doesn't have any pedals, so can't be an e-bike by state law, but you did amend your rules in the July meeting to allow it to be a seated scooter per your rules. Lime is back today asking for a limited month and a limited number of gliders to be approved for a pilot proposal to be used primarily for first and last mile. That was spelled out in the document that we provided for you. Essentially, no additional vehicles will go in the downtown area. I think that's the most important point to make here. They will replace 50 standing scooters in the downtown area with 50 gliders for them to be used in the downtown area, but that will not result in any additional fleet. The other 50 gliders are going to go outside of that downtown area. They're going to work with WeGo on identifying bus stops where these gliders will be staged, and it will be a 70% off ride for first and last mile connection. So NDOT is in support of this. Lily Krause from Lime is available here to speak today. And if you have any questions of Robert Johnson, he's here from WeGo.
I've got some questions. So come on. Both of you, sure. Let's knock it out. First of all, thank you for amending the pilot program. I think it makes a lot more sense as written now than it did last month. I would love to know more about how the 70% off with the WeGo is going to work so walk me through it. How does it work? I take a bus and then,
So at the designated bus stops that we would work together to identify those selected transit stops, the app is geofenced, whereby if you're opening the app within a radius of that
the
transit
Lime
stop.
app, not the WeGo app.
Correct, the Lime
Yeah.
app, or the Uber app where you can rent Lime vehicles through. If you are within a radius of that transit stop, the price will be automatically reflected to be 70% off, as well as ending those trips at the stops. Yep. Yeah, so our technology with our GPS is able to determine whether or not a vehicle is near a transit stop and applies for that discount.
Okay, that seems simple, thank you. And then, is that to any destination, 70% off?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And if you're ending at a transit stop as well. So from any destination to a transit stop.
And are we gonna have corrals for those at the WeGo stops?
Not as of now, but we would make sure that whatever stops that we're choosing have capacity space-wise to allow for vehicles.
Yeah, if I can add, good afternoon, it's Robert Johnson. I'm a transit planner with WeGo, and I also have considerable experience with pedestrian and bicycle planning. Yes, the wheelchair accessibility of our buses is extremely important to us, and we know that this trial obviously could bring challenges if these Lime gliders do block that wheelchair access getting on or getting off the bus. So we're going to want to know that there's space available. I'm going to be talking about the number of scooters and the individual shape of the individual bus stop. And we'll be wanting that feedback afterwards as to what actually happened and where did people really park the scooters and how did it impact wheelchair access. So thanks for that, Commissioner, because that will be a key concern of mine.
Okay, and how many are we talking here in the WeGo pilot? Is it only gliders?
50 vehicles, yep. We will be deploying, it will apply to all Lime vehicles that are deployed at these stops. So there could be scooters or bikes at these stops as well, and those will also receive the 70% off the traditional vehicles that we've had here as well.
And is it at any WeGo stop or certain WeGo stops?
In order to make sure that we have a pilot where we have reasonable data, we want to select stops where we can always have vehicles there. So with the 50 vehicles, in terms of staging, with the 50 vehicles, we want to, determine 5 at each, so maybe 10 stops total, whereby we would guarantee that we're always deploying vehicles there so that it becomes more routine for the folks who are actually using it, and it will provide us with better data.
So remind me, this is going to be the 50 additional.
Outside of downtown, correct, yes.
So the WeGo stops will not be downtown?
Not within the.
Where you're going to put the new ones?
Correct.
Okay, just want to clarify that.
Yep.
All right, those are all my questions. Anybody else?
I should know this. How do you ensure that the 50 additional that start off out of downtown do not migrate downtown?
So they may migrate downtown, but immediately, so we have in our internal systems, thresholds, again, geofenced, where we have, so currently, for instance, we have a 500 vehicle max downtown. Anytime another vehicle rides into that downtown, it creates a move task, or for some vehicle to be moved outside. So if one comes in, our system automatically says, okay, we got to create tasks for more to come out, and generally those are completed within 30 minutes.
Commissioner, I also monitor this on Populous, so we've got a check and balance there as well.
If I could ask a question of either one of you, if Mr. Johnson has a problem reported to him, can he contact someone in Lime directly rather than bothering Mr. Schlafer?
Yes, certainly. I mean,
Okay.
Lily, would
Certainly.
that be you?
That would be me.
Yes, okay, sure.
So not your ops people, it'd be you.
I'll loop him in with our ops people too, just so that,
Okay.
you know, like 24 hours a day, if there's anything. I'm not responding to emails 24 hours a day, but someone from our team
Right,
is, so.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
It's, for what it's worth, I know Mr. Johnson, and he won't accept any nonsense.
Commissioner Rogers, I will share a little personal experience. I often have problems with e-bikes and scooters, either blocking the sidewalk or blocking entrances to our buildings, or abandoning a travel lane and report it through Hub. And I have found that this is anecdotal, but I've found that the response time is pretty quick, usually within an hour to get it relocated, reporting it through Hub. I think that there will be a challenge as NDOT looks to implement Connect Downtown, because the person who is going to move those vehicles usually is in a truck with a trailer and stops in a travel lane. And that vehicle is stopped in the travel lane for 3, 4, 5 minutes while the attendant or the staff person is going through the effort to move those vehicles. And at some point really soon, they won't be able to stop in the travel lane to do their business if Connect Downtown is fully implemented, which I know it's lots of recommendations, not necessarily policy, but the recommendations are that they shouldn't be able to even stop in a travel lane to do anything, which will be hard.
It's easy for me to say this, but at some point I'd like us to do research on how other cities are dealing with those kinds of things. I have talked to people in Seattle, and it sounds like they may have a better handle on some of this than we do, but.
I'd be curious, relative to your technology, I've also had some challenges recently with both scooters and bikes, and adding glides that are going to be popular, traveling the wrong direction on one-way streets. As an example, one-way, Second Avenue North, or Second Avenue is one-way northbound, and getting scooters or bikes traveling either in the travel lane or on the sidewalk. Is there a way for your tech to geofence or stop or slow down or warn the children or adults or whoever it is that's riding these?
Drunk people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here, but during like pulling out of my garage, I'm
Yeah.
not looking for.
Like they're not
I look-
following the
I look
traffic.
I look right
Yeah.
for oncoming traffic. I'm not looking for something coming 18 miles an hour down the sidewalk, hugging my building.
Yep.
I get it for
But I guess
somebody
what you're
walking,
saying, yeah.
and that should be a really easy thing to solve.
It's not quite as easy to solve, but it is one of the, I mean, we know what the concerns are. They're not just unique to Nashville. We hear this from many cities. So these are the top of mind things that our product team are working diligently to solve. We have made a lot of improvements over the years with our technology with regards to, safety geofencing, even just like more accuracy. As that accuracy improves, we're able to look at solutions like that. Doesn't exist right now, but that's heard and would make all of our lives easier if we were able to fully implement that, and I hope we will in the near future. Yeah.
Is there a draft contract that's in place right now for this expansion? Is there a draft contract in place for this expansion for the pilot?
I don't believe so on just it being a pilot.
So say that the commission today says this is a great idea. What happens?
I'm gonna let
Does
my
it move into a
manager
formal
answer that.
agreement?
Per the terms of the pilot, yeah, they would come back to you in December with their results and present to you at the December meeting, and then make a determination on whether the pilot ends at that point, an expiration date, or whether there's a motion to continue. We do it out of the minutes of the commission.
But is there, for example, a contract that says they have the contractual ability to place these throughout town that says what they're going to do and where they're going to go, that outlines what their insurance requirements are? There's got to be something more with Metro government than just us voting on
Let
this.
me ask, Mr., if you don't mind, the contract basically says they do what we say, right? It sets minimum levels for the things you're talking about in terms of insurance, correct?
The contract spells out with the SUMD companies kind of minimal requirements. Incorporated by reference is the TLC rules and the authority of this commission to govern that contract. So in general, I'm looking to our attorneys there.
Because any
Wheels are
rules
turning.
change we make, in a
Becomes
sense,
part of the
change the
contract.
contract.
Exactly.
Would this be an amendment to the contract then?
TJ, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the contract allows for up to a certain amount of scooters. And I don't know if this 50, the addition of the 50 of these will go beyond that number.
Can I ask a question? What is the ultimate goal of the pilot?
To like, as we continue to invest in Nashville and grow, we want to make sure that we're like servicing
I mean,
Nashvilleians.
do you want to replace scooters with gliders? Or
Potentially, so yeah, we want to see what the ridership patterns look like if they're being used, you know, like, and see where we might want to place them if we change our fleets. If we're seeing that they're being used for longer rides, and in different neighborhoods, we want to be able to make those decisions on where we grow, where we put them to grow, and how we can work together with local stakeholders.
So if they come back before us and say the pilot went well, we would definitely have to alter the contract because the contract is for scooters and bikes.
Well, I wasn't even, what I was probing around on, you just nailed on the head, is if there's a contract, could this commission, as a part of our approval, request that you share zip code data with us from your credit card receipts so that we can know if you're servicing Nashvilleians? So as we think about convenience and necessity, if you're serving Nashvilleians and it's 60 or 70% Nashvilleians, that's a really interesting thing to WeGo. It's an interesting thing to us. If it's 90% or 95% tourists, there may be still an argument for that because it's not putting a ride share on the street, perhaps. But I think it's an interesting data point for us to know who's riding the scooters and who's riding the bikes. And so if there's a contract that will be signed, or if we could condition approval of these devices, I would encourage my fellow commissioners to think about if that would be useful data for scooters and for bikes. Who's riding them?
Of course it would.
And that's part of the contract, isn't it, that they share data with us? Or perhaps it's in the ordinance.
Zip code data is not the type of data that we receive through Populous, but it's an interesting question from the chair.
Could I ask a question? What's the state of the grant that Lime gave to NDOT to study? Are you involved in that, Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, but do you know more than me? But
Not
Lily, do
more
you know
than
more
us.
about this? Yes, there was a, completely separate to this matter, Lime has a headquarters who offered to do more in-depth data study of who's using scooters and how they should integrate with public transit. And that study is currently underway.
I mean, just very directly, Lily, for the pilot program, can we get zip code data?
I don't know how, like, if I'm being quite honest, if like, I have the authority to, it can be maybe construed as demographic data, which generally we're, you know, or whatever. I would have to ask our legal team, but what we do provide to cities when we talk about who's riding, we have really in-depth survey data.
I personally, I don't care if it's older men or young women or, right? Like, I'm really, I mean, you nailed it on the head. Are Nashvilleians riding these? And so like, I look at we're in the hospitality business. We have some bars and restaurants and parking, and I get credit card receipts. I don't get like somebody's physical address, but I know that I've got X number of people from 37215 or from 37207. And I can build a really interesting data case to say, is it Middle Tennesseans riding? Is it Nashvilleians riding, right? Is it people from Kentucky? And there may be, but I think that would be really useful data for us to see. When I've asked TD for the data, he didn't have it. And so I would ask my fellow commissioners, if you think I can't vote on it unless there's a tie.
Is the populous data, is that standard for every city?
I would say so. Not every city uses Populous, but the data you're receiving, it's statistical data, rides, locations, segments.
This issue's come up before in the past, and they are the other companies have been very reluctant to provide it, as I remember, but
This would set them apart.
yeah, it would, yes.
Because it's something that would be so beneficial to us.
And I hope that NDOT is in the process of creating a new RFP. And I think that's the kind of thing that should go into a new one, so we make them promise to provide us the kind of data that we want, among other things.
That RFP will be approved by this commission, so that's something we can add to the list.
TD, do you know how long it would take to put corrals into these bus stops so that they would not be obstructing wheelchairs or differently abled folks trying to get on and off the buses?
I couldn't speak to an exact timeline. Brent Schultz with NDOT, Connect Downtown Coordinator, has been our corral guru and has put out a lot downtown, and Germantown is next on his list. If it's feasible to put a corral, which is pavement and bollard on a ground, and if WeGo would work with Brent, and if that works out, if there's the space, we can put that on the list of things to do to ensure. I believe Mr. Johnson has stated he'll ensure that they're not being placed in an area that would restrict wheelchair accessibility or ADA accessibility.
Yeah, and if there's a sign and a place for people to put them, hopefully they'll put them there.
We can talk through that with Brent and see what his timeline would be on getting paint on the ground.
I might point out, and I was going to ask this anyway, we collect fees from these companies. Do you have just a general number of how much we collect each year?
I would put it in the neighborhood of $110,000 per company.
Per company, or over 300 grand, so we can afford corrals, unless we're spending it on your salary.
Not quite.
Which is well worth it.
Before we get into that, if I could ask a question, following up on scooters or other devices being used inconsistent with traffic rules. Do you capture any information such that if there is a known bad player renting, can you tie that, and do you ever terminate services? And rather than take up time, anybody who wants to stay later, I'll be glad to share some personal experiences that I had. And I did submit a hub complaint about a grandparent with a young child on the sidewalk, and the father they did not want to listen to the rules. And it happens very frequently. So it seems like if there's a way to get rid of the people that aren't using them properly, you might improve the perception.
Yeah. Thank you for that. We absolutely do have a progressive discipline policy in place, where first most of the time this relates to parking because that's what we have the most, readily accessible information on, because we get a picture every time someone parks a vehicle, and that picture is analyzed by AI first to detect if it's in a correct parking spot, et cetera. So first we warn folks and say, hey, you didn't park your scooter correctly, please move it. That escalates eventually to a fine if there's repeated behavior also of, underage riding, et cetera. After, I think it's 2 warnings, we remove folks from the platform for inappropriate behavior. And I can come back to you at, not today, but some point with, data on kind of how many warnings, fines, removals we've sent out in the city.
Is that standard across most of the cities in the nation, that you get a couple of warnings before you give? I'd rather give them a fine right away, but that's just me.
Yeah, it's standard to warn and give folks the chance to do right. It's a new form of transportation to some folks who want to make sure that we're educating before just outright bans.
Well, when I discussed this with Mr. Slafer's counterpart in Seattle, I think they required you to fine. Now, I don't remember if it was on the first time or not.
It's likely on the second time. There's usually a warning first.
And that, again, that's something we can put in an RFP.
Mm-hmm.
If we approve this, when would you start the pilot?
Tomorrow? Next week. We have I think tomorrow we may start phasing in some of our gliders to replace some of the standing scooters. So you may see regardless, some gliders on the streets beginning tomorrow because we're gonna see how they perform downtown as well. But the bus stop, we'd work, next week. I think by the end of the week, we could be able to identify spots and start deploying there.
I would be theoretically in favor of this if we got zip code data from the pilot and if we had corrals in place before the gliders were at the WeGo stops.
Can I ask a question? What difference does it matter if it's somebody using a bus, whether they're from out of town or in town? That's hopefully one less car. I mean, I don't really care who gets on or off the bus.
There's 50 that are at bus stops and 50 that are replacing scooters downtown, and I'm curious about not just the gliders and the bikes, but all of the scooters. So I'd like to see personally who's riding these countywide. And as we think about convenience and necessity for Nashvillians, that could be a really interesting data point and could open a lot of discussion.
I just want to throw out, we do have statistically significant survey data that allows us to reasonably, to a really close degree, estimate how many are tourists versus locals, ages, income levels, and all of that stuff. We have we have a whole team of folks working on those survey results.
I don't think we see it.
I would love to show that to you, and I can show that to you today. I could share that with you, with TD this afternoon to share with all of you this afternoon.
And your survey is like an exit survey, or it's somebody who chooses to fill something out.
Correct.
Yeah,
But-
so I mean, the zip code data would give us a much higher level of confidence.
Like from the credit card.
From the
use.
credit card swipe.
Yeah.
And it's not identifying, it doesn't tell you what the demographics are, it's just like, hey, this person's from Middle Tennessee or they're not.
Yeah, that's what I would prefer as well.
I would caution that some cards may be business cards, so the billing zip code. So looking at the zip code, realizing it's not going to be a perfect.
Sure.
And maybe we see both of those and we draw some conclusions when the pilot's over in December.
I could add one thing. I have asked these companies about data on locals versus tourism rides before, and zip codes is one theory of how you could get that data. Previously, it was told to me that another option that they have to look at it is if an individual takes a ride in Nashville during a 1 week period and then never again, they might be able to assume that person was here for tourism. However, if over a span of time, they are a repeat rider in Nashville, they could more closely associate that with a local rider. That's another theory of how to make those numbers work.
And I would think that would actually be more efficient because of the number of people that are moving into the city. And that if I just came from Texas and I rode a scooter and my credit card swiped that I'm from Texas, well, if that credit card swiped 3 times in the last 2 months, my credit card address might still show Texas, but I'm now a resident of California. Local Nashvillians are more unicorns than they're anything else. Immediate data, zip code, of course.
Yeah, it's easy. It's really easy to get.
I think I also want to add, and I think that this is true. I know it's true that nowadays a lot of our payments are made via Apple ID, Apple Pay, and Google, and we don't receive zip code data for those. So it's just an anonymized Apple ID, and that's a large portion of our ridership at this point.
I think what we're saying is we would like some data.
Love to give you all the data that we can provide.
Thank you.
From our vast team.
Yeah.
And I think
Us too.
they'd like that data too. So we'll hold ourselves to that promise.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Is there a motion?
I move approval.
Second. Any more discussion?
I would move approval with the amendment that they provide zip code data during the pilot program to TD and the commission and Director Rickert, and also have visible corrals at the WeGo stops for people to return the scooters to a proper place.
The problem with that is it's dependent upon NDOT's funding and staffing and.
I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
that's a
but
long-term.
I don't want someone in a wheelchair not to be able to
Well,
access this.
As I said, I know Mr. Johnson, and I guarantee you, he will deal with those kinds of things.
And I can speak to during this pilot, which I'm not sure exactly when it ends, there would not be any time for us to put a corral out there.
What's it gonna
during that
look
time.
like at the bus stop?
Yes, I think that's a very good question, Commissioner. I would actually ask for some guidance. Were you to approve that amendment, Commissioner, I think I would ask for some guidance, please, which is we were going to select the bus stops based on criteria that we thought more perfectly matched bus passengers wanting to go that distance, you know, the more than walking distance, the sort of cycling distance. And of course, Lily's going to tell us where the popular places are for using these scooters, and I'm going to know where the popular bus stops are. So we'll go through the transport planning process of matching those up and picking bus stops. The guidance would be that if you were requiring a corral to place them in, that's going to massively limit the number of bus stops we can choose because there isn't that much flat concrete that's not doing anything in the public right-of-way in Nashville. So some guidance for you would help me with ruling out bus stops because that request from you rules out a lot of bus stops.
Can we require signage? Can we require something? Somebody's got a printer somewhere that can put corral, like bike return.
Chair, may I interject here? I don't think it's the TLC's authority to direct where signs are placed or where corrals are located. That's more the jurisdiction of the Traffic and Parking Commission, if anything.
It is, but we could subject our approval, couldn't we? To say that,
Because I think you're in effect directing NDOT to do something that's outside your authority.
All right, I'll withdraw that part in good faith, that there be some signage for where to go.
Happy to work on installing that on our own if we're allowed to, so we'll work together.
I mean, the worst possible outcome is that these gliders block.
Worst possible.
That's right.
Correct.
And we're all in agreement on that.
That's right, that is the worst possible outcome, concur.
Carrie, are you agreeable to that amendment on
Yeah,
zip code?
yes, thank you, Freddie.
Requiring corrals? Oh, certainly if it's available, but I understand the thing about Apple Pay. I mean, I don't want my zip code in Apple Pay, and I use it a lot. To the extent possible, yes. This issue's come up before in the past, and I mean, there are a lot of, I assume, legal issues for what they turn over to government.
My requested amendment is to have zip code data reported to the commission after the end of the pilot program.
Can I offer an amendment to that if it's legally and operationally possible?
Thank you.
To the extent the information is available.
Yes, and I trust our staff and WeGo to do their best to get it.
So I
Just
think
know
we need
gotta
to
be
clean the
careful.
whole thing up
We've got to
before
be
we vote on
careful.
it.
Yeah, we've got to be careful we need to find out, first of all, can we do that before we just all of a sudden have a motion to do it?
well, the Commissioner Rogers amendment, amended motion solves that, and
Yeah.
it gives staff some direction to go figure out what we can get.
Sure.
And maybe push hard for it and see what's legal.
And we will make sure WeGo has our direct numbers, so that we'll communicate with them and make sure that if we have any problems at all, if we have to go out there and do it ourselves, we will go out there and move these scooters.
I'll come with you.
Okay?
TD, are you comfortable with the amended?
I'm comfortable that I'm going to watch this meeting back and get a good motion to write down at that point in time.
Chair, may
Legal.
I just suggest that Commissioner Claver withdraw the motion and the amendment and start clean?
I withdraw the previous motion and amendment.
Thank you. And now someone else can make a motion. Maybe Ms.
Commissioner Rogers, you had a nice amended motion that I think was pretty good.
Well, do you want me to withdraw my original motion to approve?
Yes.
Yes, please.
I withdraw my original motion.
I'm sorry, I'm confused now.
So you're,
We're at a blank,
We're at- we
if
have
you
nothing.
agree, then we're at a blank slate.
Okay.
move approval with.
With the understanding that NDOT and Lime will work together to provide us with as much data about rider home and location as possible. Legally possible. Is that?
And report in.
Report at the end of the pilot project, yes.
Okay.
Did you get that?
Second.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Chair, at this point, we are 40 minutes from a hard stop at 2:15. We have 2 public hearings that probably will take that long. I just want to, for the chair and the commission to decide how y'all want to move forward from here, because it's obvious we're not going to get to everything on the agenda.
You gotta bring food, we'll stay.
That's next.
We lose quorum.
Yeah.
We lose
We
quorum.
had 2 people out, and I unfortunately had a conflict out of the county as well, and I could not move professionally. I tried.
So we lose quorum at 2:15.
Oh.
And so I guess next would be the annual hearing for the purpose of consideration of applications for certificates of public convenience and necessity for new or additional low-speed vehicles or pedal vehicles or emergency record services, disciplinary hearings. There's a lot of stuff that we could discuss in the next.
There's a lot that you could clear. We could have another, maybe try to get a special call meeting for the public hearings. It will proceed however the chair chooses. I was just sensitive to time and wanting to clear as much as we possibly could so that our September meeting, or October, what month is it?
This is August.
Yeah, so our September meeting is not so crowded.
I would suggest that we handle whatever we deferred. I see some deferrals over here this one was deferred from June, this one was deferred from June. If we've already deferred it once, I would assume we would need, that would get a little bit of a priority just to not to defer it again.
Are there,
That's commissions, we'll do whatever commission decides.
just relative to timing and annual certificates, is there anything that has to be heard at this meeting?
The code says we must have an annual hearing. It doesn't dictate in which month.
Are we, if it's 13 or 14 months, though? That's what I was getting at. That's more than a year.
I'm looking out illegal. The code does say we must have an annual hearing.
When do their permits expire?
It doesn't coincide with the annual hearing.
So there's not a date?
April, March.
It's March or April.
Oh, of 2026?
Yeah.
Oh. So everybody would be able to operate until,
So if you wanted to defer the annual hearings and try to knock out the rest of the agenda, that's a possibility, or we can start with the hearing. The thing about the hearings is if we have so many people wanting to speak during the public hearing and 2:15 comes and we have to stop the public hearing, then that's just my thinking.
Mr. Chairman, could we move the annual hearings to the end of our agenda? And if we don't get to them, have the special call meeting and just see what we can move through quickly to try to get there?
You can vote to do that.
So I'd like to call for, you want to call for a vote on that?
I don't know whether a vote is needed to
Not
move
needed?
an item on the agenda.
So, yeah, I'd love to make a decision and move into the emergency record service review and investigation of Dad's Towing Service, West Nashville Record Service.
And that's going to be deferred until October. So they can knock that one out. and then go-
Is that what Mr. Weaver was here for today? That
Yeah,
he didn't get to speak?
No, sir, I don't believe so.
He was here for something else.
We are asking that be deferred.
Got it.
Our review of all of that has not yet been completed.
And that would in turn suggest a deferral of the next item.
Yes, ma'am. So both of those would be deferred until October.
Was also BL 2025954, is that something you were trying to defer?
Yes, sir, that's going to be deferred until next month. Councilman Coopin wanted to speak to that, and he was unable to be here today. So we're asking that be a 1-month deferral.
And disciplinary hearings, is that when we need to close the public meeting?
Application.
Application, that's right, that's right. So we could go into disciplinary hearings for the,
Can we move other business next month too? Do we need to do that this month?
We can defer other business, we could, I mean, we can defer, application reviews. Okay, but yeah, we'll make motions to do that. We can't just do it, we have to have a motion to do it. For all the deferrals, correct.
so that would leave us disciplinary.
Well, could we go forward with disciplinary while we think about it?
Do you just want to move?
Yeah, I'd love to move forward with the disciplinary hearings.
Okay, you want to move the public hearings to the end and see what we do?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
and then we'll have to defer them if we don't get to them at the end.
Right.
Okay. The first one, it would be Entertainment Transportation McLeod's Ride, doing business as Big Drag Bus. I think you've all received a settlement in your packet between NDOT, between the company and Metro Legal. Everyone has signed off on an 8-month probationary period, and we would move approval for that.
Mr. Chairman, I had questioned the 8 months and was informed that our staff was going for 12. The licensee was going for 6, and so 8 was a compromise. And with that understanding, I would move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? I do have something.
Did anything happen while the bus was parked there?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that when the pedestrian
Yeah.
got?
I'm gonna have to let TD answer to this. There's reasons I've got to abstain from this.
Okay, thank you.
There was a collision in the crosswalk where an individual was attempting to cross the crosswalk there at the 1500 block of Church Street and was struck by a vehicle unaffiliated with Cloud Rides LLC.
And they were illegally parked there when that collision happened?
The Cloud Rides LLC vehicle was parked outside of the proper loading zone on a day not approved for loading at the time the individual was hit in the crosswalk.
Thank you.
And it was determined that the vehicle obstructed the view, which caused the person to be struck
That's correct.
by a Metro PD or investigating officer who?
Just from video and pictures and MPD didn't see.
There
it.
was
So no official determination?
No.
That,
Other than-
who was at fault?
Other than visual, I mean, there's no arrest, there was no citations, there was no parking violations, and nothing was issued on it.
Do we know why they were in that zone?
If you're looking at pictures, that there's several vehicles that are parked where they would have parked. So I think we can say from that they had nowhere else to go.
Okay, thank you.
I was going to say part of the resolution agreement recognizes that the employee of Cloud Rides did not follow company policy and remedial training has occurred.
What does that mean in practice, the disciplinary action we're taking?
Under the probationary period over the next 8 months, the commission could consider any additional violations by Cloud Rides to be a violation that occurred while on probation.
But otherwise, operations as normal.
Operations would continue as normal.
Thank you. And your office is okay with this outcome?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Staff recommends approval of this.
thank you.
Wait, I've got one more question, just real quick, just being involved in a lot of stuff like this. Do we have the authority to determine at fault? I mean, we're putting a disciplinary action on a company, by making the determination that they're at fault.
The determination of fault within the settlement. It's really just they admitted to being illegally parked. That's what the admission is, that they were illegally
Okay.
parked. There's no.
I thought we were, it was because someone was struck and we're saying it was their fault by being parked there.
No.
Okay.
Call the question.
One more.
Go for it.
Yeah, thank you. When does the is it 8-month period start from? Today?
Start from today. If you approved it.
There's no other questions. Anybody, I guess,
Says a
motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Next item, we're asking for indefinite deferral. We're not sure when this court case is going to wrap up, and this gentleman has asked, he's asked for it to be deferred. He wants to go to court and wants to come before you with a clean record that he anticipates he's going to have. We just don't know when that's going to happen. So what we'll do, if the commission allows, is we'll indefinitely defer that, and then we'll put it back on your agenda when it's ready to go back on. Go ahead, TD.
And I would add, this gentleman's under an emergency suspension from Mr. Rooker, so that
Yes.
suspension should continue.
Should continue.
That's
So you would need to
That was
vote
gonna
on
be my
the,
question.
on the suspension. Thank you.
Move to indefinitely defer item for record driver helper Timothy Greenhaw for alleged violations of Metro Code 6.80.450.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is review of taxi cab driver Moshin Masood.
Yes, sir. He has completed everything the commission has asked him to do. He has an anger management class scheduled for.
Can you remind us what this was?
This was the gentleman who overcharged from the Savannah Banana game.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
And he has done everything the commission's asked him to do. He does have his anger management class scheduled for the 28th of August. So we are recommending that the commission lift his suspension, let him start working again. He has, his boss is here and has told me that he is going to keep him straight, and we're not going to have any problems out of him anymore. And when he completes his anger management course, he'll bring us the proof, and we'll let you know at the next meeting.
Do we have proof that the money was refunded?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's an acknowledgement from the complainant,
We,
and she expressed her appreciation to our staff.
Great. Thank you for all your work on that. So what are we voting on for this?
We're recommending that you lift his suspension and let him start working. And then after he completes the anger management course, he'll bring us the notification of that, and then we will present it to you either at the commission meeting, or we'll send you an email and let you know that he has completed everything.
Does he remain on probation if we lift that status?
Yes.
How long is that probation?
He was given 90 days probation,
90.
so he's 30 days into it. He still has 60 more
60
probation
more
days.
probationary days.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, so we deferred.
Hold on just a moment, Chair.
Chair, I think it might be a good time to take all the matters that you want to defer and go ahead and defer them. So then,
Yeah.
so that we're done and you can skedaddle when you need to.
So, I get to do that? I guess, or does it need a vote?
You would need a motion to defer them.
I'll make a motion to defer the emergency wrecker service item to the October meeting, the entertainment transportation item to the September meeting, and the other business item to the September meeting, and the application reviews to the September meeting.
Is there a second?
Did you want to have a special call meeting for the annual or decide it all goes to September?
We will have to see availability and see when we can secure a room, and we have a lot of work to do on that. So if we will we'll go to work on that, see if that's even possible on tomorrow, and we'll get you a notification as soon as we possibly can.
Would you be willing to, we do get a special call meeting for the annual hearings, have it a deferral to a
To
special
add the
call meeting
deferral-
or September?
Do you want to just amend it? Are you able to do that?
I just wanted to double check to see if we were definitely sending it to September or to our next meeting.
To our next meeting, yeah, I just don't want to start one and have to stop one. That's where we are with the annual hearings. We need to hear all that at one time. And we get halfway through the public hearing and we have to stop, then you leave the public hearing open and it just, y'all not gonna need it really, probably.
So what is the amendment to say, move any annual hearings to the next available date?
So that would leave it open to a special call meeting or the next regular meeting.
Ms. Ramsey,
Legal's okay with that.
could I ask a question on as procedure? Do we actually need a quorum to have open discussion? You have to have the quorum for that? It's open discussion, there's no voting.
I'll let legal answer that question.
Talking about for the annual hearings?
Yeah, I mean, the public,
They're here. So your question is, if we have 4 people, could the 4 that remain listen? Could the 3 of us that are going to be here the next time watch the YouTube video when we have to vote on it? Theoretically? Because there'd be no vote today. And we do want to certainly respect the folks at all.
Yeah, a lot of people here.
That's an option. For commissioners to vote on it, though, there will be no quorum today. So at the next meeting, you have to go by your memory of what happened today with the quorum vote, but those commissioners who are not here today wouldn't have the opportunity to watch unless they do as you suggest and watch the Metro Nashville Network video.
I think we all go home and immediately re-watch the meetings.
again, I'm just trying to be respectful of everybody who showed up here, and that what they have to say is more of a intake than a vote, than to also push all that time into another meeting.
It's certainly your choice to hear.
Well, I mean, it's not just gonna be me. I mean, I'm asking the remaining commissioners.
Part of the reason we record this is so that we can rewatch it. So let's use tech to our advantage.
I'm okay with it.
You can absolutely hear the discussion, you just can't vote. Or
Well, there wouldn't be a vote anyway.
once you lose quorum, correct.
Theoretically, if we have questions, we can ask the people. If those of us that are not in attendance today, we can ask the sponsors, if you will, the questions that we might have.
Yes,
Perhaps
but
we could
would
go
have to leave
forward.
the hearing open to do that.
We could perhaps go with low-speed vehicles since we already had a request to defer the pedal.
So just back up for a second. The hearing we'd have to leave it open or close it and have no questions at the next meeting.
Correct.
But we don't have to do both hearings today. We zip-a-doo, we've got 20 minutes.
Yeah. Tackle what we can have to vote on and listen to what.
Is that or our application review? Those two things.
Mr. Rogers, what do you think?
I prefer to do it all at once. I have a poor memory.
I don't.
Sounds like
I don't think so. With all the
Oh, yeah,
facts that pour out of you, I'm.
I'd like to do
challenge that.
public hearing and decisions at the same time.
Do we know how many people are here who wish to speak on LSVs?
Show of hands
I mean, look
for
at the room.
LSVs. And then show of hands for pedal vehicles.
I'll stay. I mean,
I'll stay.
If we're gonna stay and hear, y'all wanna hear public hearing and y'all decide to do that, can I suggest that we do the application reviews while we still have 5 folks here? And then, so we can vote on that and get that off, and then we can have the public hearings for the other 2 things, whatever y'all wanna do. We would have to pause. Because those won't take 15 minutes. Just a suggestion.
yeah, you got 20. We can take 15 of it.
So we'll need to pause for the application reviews, correct?
Yes, sir.
We do still need a second on the motion to defer the record, the ET, the other
Until
business.
September, or the next meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
So that vote was just to defer the emergency record service to October and the other business to September, correct?
And the ET to September.
And the ET to September,
Yes.
okay.
And the update on the taxi cab smart meters.
The other business, yeah.
Yes.
That's the other business.
So now I guess you need to take a vote on whether to defer LSVs and/or pedal vehicles. If you're going to do that.
Can we, yeah, okay.
Or you can continue, and when you lose quorum, the conversation just continues, but you won't be able to vote.
Well, we only have, I mean, he's got 17 minutes now, and we've got applications, so.
Let's get into the application reviews for record driver Christopher Carter.
We need to ask for the television.
Yeah, you gotta read your, either something you have to read.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So, Metro Nashville Network, let's see here. So we need to, yes, cease recording procedure during the application review process. And then we'll ask you guys to put a graphic up on the screen, and the mics will be muted. And Metro Nashville Network needs to announce that we're clear. Do I need to read this statement? The broadcast section of this meeting has been concluded.
It's paused.
Pause.
It's paused.
Has been paused. The remaining portion of the meeting will be broadcast when we reopen the meeting. Because the commission will be considering confidential and protected criminal history background information of driver applicants. Questions about this should be directed to the Transportation Licensing Commission office at 615-862-6777. Once again, 615-862-6777. Thank you.